Last week we had Hamilton. This week we're jumping over to Sydney, ready for another leg in the World Sevens Series. In this one we will be doing our Samoa Sevens preview. Now last competition in Hamilton didn't quite go how Samoa would have planned. They had a tough group stage. They finished 9th in the end, and they will certainly be looking to finish a lot higher in this next competition, although they have still got a very tough group to get through. We will get to that in a very short moment, but if you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Jumping straight into the fixtures that Samoa will have. They are a part of Pool C, and they will find themselves up against Ireland, USA, and also Spain. So a challenging enough group. Ireland and USA both finding success last week, making it further in the comp than the Samoans did. This week, it could be a whole different story. That's the beauty of Sevens. One week, it could all be going wrong for you, and then the next week is where you do find your success. So Samoa, their first match will be up against the Irish. That will be at 4:22 PM New Zealand time, and that is on Friday. So unlike Hamilton, Sydney's actually going to be taking place over 3 days rather than crammed all into the 2. I didn't really like the 2-day format, mainly because we missed a lot of matches as they were playing on a second field. But I believe with 3 days, it does mean we will get to see every single match of the 7. So that first one, 4:22 PM, up against the Irish, could be quite a close game. And I think Ireland, they'll be annoyed that they were beaten by New Zealand once again in one of the playoff games last week in Hamilton. So they'll be looking for redemption. So that is why Samoa are going to have to bring their A game into their very first match. The next game that they've got, they actually don't have any more on the Friday night. Instead, they will be playing on Saturday morning, 11:22 AM New Zealand time, and that is up against the USA. Now, USA, they did pretty well last week, making it through to the semi-finals before they were knocked out by the eventual winners, Argentina. So they too will be looking for some sort of retribution this week. And on any given day, USA and Ireland can go far in a competition. So Samoa, there's once again a chance they could miss out on making it through to the quarterfinals, just with the way that all of these teams are developing over the last 12 months or so. Makes it very hard to predict who is going to be going far in each and every competition. And then their last game will be up against Spain. I feel like Spain, to an extent, are the Kenya of this group to what Samoa had last week. The side that should be easy enough to beat, but can still really challenge you if you do underestimate them. So that game will be taking place Saturday, 4:43 PM, and that is their last group stage fixture. Looking through at their squad, I believe at this stage they haven't added any new players into their team. They didn't use Malani Matavao last week, which makes me think there might be some sort of injury still lurking around. He has been out for quite some time already on the 7 circuit, so it would make sense that they want to slowly ease him into it rather than rushing him back in and creating yet again another injury. Definitely with the amount of experience and skill that that man brings to the Samoan side. Also, another couple injuries were popping up for Samoa. Last week we saw Sione end up with some sort of knee injury. I'm not too sure of the extent of his injury, whether or not he will be back. I believe he should be though, and I believe the other injury concern for Samoa was Paul Eti-Slater. He did take a head knock one of the earlier contests, so whether he is back, we will just have to wait and see as well. But Samoa, even without those players, still have got a pretty strong side. But of course, having them back in will be a massive bonus, definitely as they were playing well before picking up their injuries. Looking through quickly at what Samoa were able to do in their pool stage last week, just to compare and see where it went wrong in the Hamilton 7. So their first game was up against Kenya. They won that one comfortably, 31 points to 5, and that was the start that Samoa really wanted. But then it went downhill, unfortunately. Their next game up against France, they did lose 21 points to 10, and then the must-win up against the Fijians, they were defeated 22 points to 12. And one of the keys to take away from both of those games, there were those little mistakes that Samoa can sometimes make when they are under pressure, but it was also the case, and this actually goes for a majority of the weekend when it came to the Hamilton Sevens, just not getting enough possession. We saw it time and time again throughout the playoff games, more specifically the quarterfinals. We saw South Africa struggle to get possession, same with the Fijians when they were knocked out by Argentina. Whether or not it's just committing that one extra man to a breakdown, taking that risk of maybe leaving space out wide, just to try and risk getting that ball back, because if you have to defend for 2 minutes and your opposition are just repeatedly throwing players at you and you end up giving away a penalty or anything along those lines, it can really cost you not just points but a lot of time that you would have liked to be using on your own attack. So I think for Samoa this week, the key has to be possession. Not worrying so much about those silky skills that we see from the Samoans week in, week out. They can still be there, but they do need to have that ball in hand for just a little bit longer so that they can use those and also just get it out wide, because they have got class in their backline, whether that's Va'a, Pelomaleko, Scanlon, Falaneko. They have got the talent. They just need the position to be able to show what they can really do. But nonetheless, now we're up to that stage of trying to predict how far in this competition the Samoans will be able to get. So looking through at the polls, it doesn't get any easier for the Samoans. I'll be honest, they've ended up on the worst side of the draw multiple times in a row. If they finish first or second in their group, they more than likely have to either play New Zealand, who got the silver last week in Hamilton, or they have to play South Africa, who are also a very tough side to beat on any given day. So a similar scenario actually of what we saw last week, how the winner of the group did have to go on to face either South Africa or Argentina. This time they've added New Zealand into the mix just to make it that little bit more challenging. So for Samoa, I was too optimistic last week, I believe. I went with the thought of momentum and said that they were going to be able to get through to the final after getting themselves that gold in Cape Town. This week, unfortunately for Samoa, they make it out of the group stage. It's going to be very tough in the quarterfinal. I'd like to see them win that contest, but I believe Samoa get knocked out in the quarterfinals, then from there go on a winning path and get themselves 5th place in the Sydney Sevens. That's a very specific prediction. So if it's right, it's good for me, not so good for Samoa, although 5th place would be pretty good after finishing 9th in the Hamilton Sevens. But if I'm wrong, and they go all the way in this competition, I'm sure there will be plenty of passionate fans absolutely loving seeing the Samoans back at the top of the mountain. But thank you all very much for tuning in. We will be doing our live commentary throughout the weekend, so be sure to check that out. Thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know how far you think Samoa are going in the Sydney Sevens, and I will see you all for the next one.